everyone, Sinbad396 here, chilling out at the Lanai. Hey, I had one of my customers the other day ask me about the Sig Pro. I had broken down the hammer box. So what he wanted me to do was he wanted to swap out the trigger. Now, Sigs right now are coming with a short trigger. Some people don't like the short triggers. I actually happened to take this trigger here and had it Cerakoted when I had the slide Cerakoted, but yet I never installed it into the gun. So one of the YouTubers asked me if I could swap out the trigger for him, show him how to do it. I went, sure, so I'll give it a shot. So basically, we're going to break down the Sig right now, show that it's empty. Safety Sally, okay? And let's break down the slide. Slide's pretty easy to break down. We've all done it before. Alright, so I'm shooting a new camera right now, so we're going to see how well this is. Plus it's on a table that's pretty shaky, so this is going to be entertaining. So basically, what you have here on the slide is you have two pins, okay? The trigger pin is located here, and this is the rail pin, or the locking insert pin here. So we're going to drive the locking insert pin out first, and then we're going to take the trigger pin out second. And there's a couple pins and springs that we have to watch out for as we're taking it apart. So with all Sig frames, when you start to take these things apart, what you want to do is you want to knock the pins out from the right side out to the left. So we're going to go ahead right now, and we're going to take a punch tool, and then we're going to tap out the locking insert or the rail portion, and what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to hold it up so I'm not making the table shake. Unfortunately, it's hindsight's 20/20. And then you would knock that out like that. Sorry for the pause. All of a sudden I had to think about something for a second. So continue knocking the pin out. Here's the pin on this side. Grab the pin, pull it out, and you'll see here on the pin there's a detent. And that detent is a spring that's on the locking block. And that detent, that spring, sits inside this detent here and holds it in place. See if we'll pull in here. See that detent a little bit better? Okay. Now all you have to do now is that insert block will now slide right out with a little love and a little negotiation. It'll come right out. Let me back this out a little bit. There we go. I should have brought a rag, because figure years of use, this sucker is going to be dirty as hell. So a little wiggle, slides right up and out, and there is the insert. And this is basically a locking insert or a frame system. And we'll kind of zoom in again, because I want to point out that this spring right here serves two purposes. Top portion of the spring right here and holds the takedown lever in place. The bottom portion of the spring is where that pin sits into. So just so this thing doesn't go flying off, I'm going to pull it out. There's the pin right there. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to put it aside so I don't lose it later on. And then we come over to the trigger portion, and once again left to right. So we're going to use our punch, and then we're going to knock that pin out. You know what? I'm going to make the table shake for a couple seconds. It's alright. You'll deal with it. And the pin really in there tight. Decock the mechanism first. What a shithead. I'm surprised that's not coming out as easy as I wanted to. This is it, folks. Live action coming at you. Alright, so now after we've knocked the crap out of this thing to get it out because it hadn't been removed, this is one of the earlier versions. If you look inside here, let me see if I can get a little zoom in here. Okay, what you're going to see is the trigger spring, which is located right here. Alright, turn that right there. There we go, it's a good shot of it. So there's the trigger spring right located right here. What you want to do is you want to drive the punch all the way through when you remove the pin so the spring doesn't come flying out. Alright, so what we're going to do is I'm going to push it out. You know what? I'm going to use a smaller punch, a little bit thinner. I'm going to push that right through there, pull that pin, and it comes right out. Okay, now pull that out, reach inside here, and pull the spring out. Now you'll see the spring, it's flat on one side, it's got a little bit of a dog leg on the back side. The dog leg is what sits on top of the trigger. The flat portion sits inside the frame to the left hand side. Okay, so I'm going to put that out of the way for now. The slight twist of the trigger, it actually falls right out. Inside here is the trigger bar and his trigger bar loop. Trigger, a little detent on it, and that sits inside. So I'll take a couple minutes and clean the parts out while I had it up, and then we'll do the reassembly. Alright, now we're going to get ready for the reassembly. While I have the new trigger in my hand, just to give you an illustration, this is the trigger spring. The trigger spring, when installed, will be more or less the dog leg. It's going to be sitting behind the trigger on the flat portion. Just give you an idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert the new trigger. And it's going to sit freely right now. I would take your punch, put your punch in to hold the trigger in place. And then what you're going to do now is take your spring, drop it into place next to the trigger itself. Make sure the dog leg is towards the rear, and the flat portion is on the inside of the frame. It figures it'd be magnetic. Alright, let's try this again. I figure this is going to be a pain in the ass. Okay, now we're in place. This is one of the original style pins. Later they put an O-ring down here to help it from walking out. You want to make sure that you install it with the knurled end going in from the left side towards the right. Once you get it past the spring, what you're going to do is take your trigger and you're going to push it in at an angle. Make sure that it lines up perfectly. And then push your pin in. You know what? It's almost better that I had a cameraman doing this so I can see what the hell I'm doing. Because I'll tell you right now, it ain't easy being cheesy. Make sure everything lines up properly. That's going in fine. I'm going to put this on my lap so I can bang this in. All right. All right. Now that we fought our way to get that done, basically, I'm going to try to zoom in here a little bit again. And, okay. You see the spring here. The flat portion of the spring I wonder if the light works on this. This is totally experimental. Come on. There we go. Okay. If you see, the spring lays flat inside here, and on the back, the spring is resting. Spring is resting right here on the back of the trigger. Man, this is not easy. Now I'm going to take the locking insert, and you'll see how the locking insert has a machine edge right here, and your spring is going to sit just like this.